Yes. So, for diseases, because of there are so many diseases which are happening outside health facilities, there is a capacity building by Bloomberg Philanthropy, which is providing the statistics office with some type of system-based collection of cause of death, a set of questions being asked to the family member of the deceased, so that with the responses it will draw a cause of death. Also, for those which happen, and this so far is related to some of the data. So that can be used by now because they do not represent the whole country.
Okay, thank you. I'm Mr. Kada from the Statistical Agency of Ethiopia. The first question, practice. With regard to good practice in Ethiopia or data, we have conducted capacity gap assessment with regard to monitoring SDGs. We have consulted on the line ministries for the corresponding indicators, and we have identified the challenges, the opportunities, and the capacity to monitor SDG indicators. The other one is we have the Ethiopian Data Quality Assessment Framework. This framework we have conducted sectors data quality, and we have produced the reports of these assessments. This is, I think, good practice. The other one is we have produced the National Administrative Data Management Guideline. So this has to be customized, of course, to the line ministries and regionals. So in this regard, producing this guideline, if sectors are following the guideline, the data will improve. So otherwise, this trainings, data trainings for statistical experts for line ministries in Ethiopia across all regions and the city administrators. The other one is after identifying the we identify the pillars that we have to There is a similar fashion where engaging sectors, including the otherwise the fundamental of the administrative data management is a data of this one. The other one is literacy is too low. peoples around the country if I'm asking my organization, all that organization is already Texas. But in general, in Ethiopia, the statistical literacy is too low. We are engaged to work to improve this statistical literacy to provide trainings and other opportunities. And we are also working with medias to improve, to work on statistical advocacy. We have a workshop that with media, and we will send the media to statistical advocacy.
I think our panelists really deserve a round of applause. We've learned a lot in terms of the initiatives, in terms of good practices, and you agree with me, they are indeed good practices. And I am not going to rate which is above the other, but I think one thing that stood for me is the Ethiopia that has the admin data guidelines. Because when you hear about the challenges generally that people talk about, what are the challenges? They tell you the data is not consistent, the methodology, it is expensive, coordination, somebody giving different levels of information. All of that I think will be resolved by the guideline and the system to manage the data. I think that is standing out, and that's something that the other NSOs here, I'm assuming will also learn. Even you and me will be happy to hear that, because also one of the recommendations from this study is actually guidelines, either for having harmonized guidelines that you can use that will then help NSOs to be able to use this data. So that only stood out for me, and I wanted to mention it. Thank you so much for raising the very good work that is already going on in the countries and that you and women can build on in terms of moving forward. Now, you have been involved and been part of the study. You have listened today to the recommendations from the study, the recommendations in particular to NSOs. I note of all the stakeholders in the study that have the most recommendations, 15 of them is for NSOs. So it's putting a lot of responsibility on the NSOs themselves. We know there are differences in national statistical systems, but we still think the NSO plays a very key role within those systems. So how can the recommendations formulated from the study be implemented in your country? Any way forward? I do not expect your responses to be on all the recommendations. Pick one or two or three of those recommendations that you have listened to that are in the report. If you want your copy of the report to be given to you, we got to it very quickly. But tell us, how can you take one or two of those recommendations and really do something different from this seminar that you will have attended?
Thank you. The National Bureau of Statistics in Tanzania, through making every woman and girl county project, we have some activities which can be helpful in implementing the recommendation that has been suggested in the reporting. In the building partnership, we have already formulated the technical working group, the gender statistics technical working group, which include the users and producers of the statistics, the MDAs, NSOs and CSOs. In implementing the national strategy for development of statistics, we are reviewing the Tanzania Statistical Master Plan 2, and this one will be based on the administrative data collections. We are also reviewing the data collection forms through our activities of making every woman and girl count, reviewing all administrative data collection forms. Assessment mechanism recommendation. We have an activity of developing the administrative data collection guidelines, like Ethiopia. Maybe we can go the good practice from Ethiopia. So we have these activities in future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Panel members, you can see I've relaxed the rule of 2 minutes because we are really enjoying your inputs and the suggestions you're bringing. So please don't be limited by the 2 minutes, but don't take 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. For Kenya, We're already doing some of the recommendations that have been done, but I'll mention some that I think will give us leverage. And one, if I take the recommendation of reviewing the data collection forms for administrative data producers, actually we don't do this so much. We've only dealt with the Kenya Revenue Authority, where we added some questions when we were dealing with some business-related survey. But for me, I feel it is an initiative that we can try to expound on further to ensure that the administrative data, as it is collected, we bring in the other dimensions and domains that miss, so that we can actually make good use of that data. Then another recommendation is the one for guidelines to ensure that data is actually official and is used. In Kenya, we have a very vibrant civil society and non-state actors. Very, very vibrant. I do believe they are even faster than us government. So they feel that we leave them behind somehow. So with the guidelines, and I know GIZ had come with a project which we were trying to implement together with the global partnership, which also includes a bit of the citizen-generated data. And I do feel that if we are to follow that path, we'll be able to at least utilize a lot of that non-official statistic that is out there. Then the last one is trying to strengthen our national statistical system and ensuring that capacity is built. Because as much as we talk about SDGs, we try to do that. We've told them where to get the metadata, because for us we use the global metadata for SDGs, not to develop our national data as it evolves. And it is to ensure that capacity is built. So the urge is for them to calculate, because they tell you, yes, it's like this, but how do we calculate? So I'm sure if I were to follow that, we'll have to be a bit of how the report has put us.
Thank you so much. For Rwanda, how to go about this recommendations, I picked some out of the proposed one when I was reading. So we already developed a national strategy for development of statistics, which includes one of the area, gender statistics, as one of the priority area to be emphasized on. So gender statistics we produced because that is a main of all for work in Rwanda and SDGs, where gender statistics are being emphasized on, and all of data gender related, gender SDG gender related indicators are part of all the SDGs and indicators to be monitored. So the statistics office is developing a dashboard on its website to include all the SDGs indicators and its disaggregation levels, whether by sex, geography, and all others are disaggregation parameters. And we are part of the team to make sure, especially the sex disaggregation is respected. So this is done, and this will be also taken into account for all the administrative data production. So this is done already. The Statistics Office now is working with the Gender Monitoring Office. It has helped so many of these administrative data indicators, which the Gender Monitoring Office will be reporting on every year. So it will be collecting data, especially the administrative ones, because most of the survey and census data collection are being done by the Statistics Office, but for administrative records, especially the gender-related one, if I may name one, the domestic violence reported cases to the police. So all these indicators will be housed in this GMIS and make sure we have records for each year. So the Statistics Office is working with Gender Monitoring Office to make sure the indicators are well phrased, to make sure that the data collection follows the standards, because the standards, you will not just have the indicator and not knowing how to compute it. And we are providing the metadata developed by the Statistics Office so that agencies understand how to compute all the indicators, including the gender-related indicators. So, in terms of working with other institutions, the Statistics Office of Rwanda.
It's just a question of the recommendations of the study that you can implement. So that's my last question.
Oh, okay. So we are building capacity, if I may. We are building capacities of all institutions across the country. So the Statistics Office in Rwanda is being capacitated. It has been given power to control the NSS, the National Statistics System. Whenever any institution wants to produce any data or carrying out a survey, it has to first get in touch officially with the Statistics Office. If I go a little bit away from administrative, is if any institution wants to carry out a survey, there is what we call visa manual, which states all the procedures that survey has to fulfill. So the questionnaire, the indicators, the computation, so all procedures, so that the data which are being produced become official by the letter provided by, when the Statistics Office provides the letter responding to the institution requesting. So this is also a kind of coordinating the whole NSS and make sure there is no institution producing a data without procedures and respecting all the statistical methods. I think this is briefly what we... And I take responsibility now from here to make sure all the administrative records or data collection will be produced following all the recommended all the recommendations provided by this study. So this is a responsibility I take with me.
Okay, thank you. For the question, how the recommendations formulated through this study to be implemented, I think first we have to learn from this document, from this task, and then we have to identify our gaps, and we have to prioritize those gaps. Maybe the gaps may be too much. So after learning, after prioritizing those gaps that we have in our country, I think we have to plan to implement them to improve statistics in Ethiopia. Here, I think it is very important to collaborate among colleagues, neighboring countries, in eastern part of Africa and southern region, and other collaborative bodies has to work together to minimize the gaps we have there in Ethiopia. The other one is capacity building. I'm looking at this capacity building in two ways. The first one is the institution. The institution which is working to produce those administrative data has to be capacitated, which means the capacity of producing administrative data. The first one is we have to strengthen or we have to establish the statistical unit, which are dedicated to work in a dedicated manner for producing in a standardized manner of these demanded statistics. The other one is expertise level. We have to capacitate the expertise, we have to give trainings, workshops for the expertise, so that statistics has to be harmonized in a country, a national level, in a regional, and in a global level. Statistics has to be harmonized. With this, the institutions has to be capacitated, the expertise has to be capacitated, and the system has to be capacitated. The system means the documents, the working materials, the statistical acts, and whatever related activity, related infrastructures. The statistical documents has to be produced so that statistics will be stronger. The other one I have mentioned in the other way. We are working on that. Of course, we are in the process. We have to improve our statistical act. We have to reestablish the statistical act within the contemporary statistical act standard what UN recommends. So with this, the statistical coordination, the harmonization across the national, global, and regional will be achieved.
Thank you very much. I think we should really give them a clap. None of the NSOs have told us we will not do any of the recommendations. None of them have told us the recommendations are not relevant. If anything, we can already see cross-learning among the NSOs. We can see what one NSO is going to pick up from the other. Just to ask an off-the-record question. How many of you will go back and brief so the head, the chief statistician know that we are here and discussing with you. They know about the study and because I'm sure some of you here are experts, but also heads of divisions or units, and you have where you report. We want to be sure that this is actually now. One key thing that come up to discuss at meetings. If you have any question, don't worry, you'll have an opportunity to ask them directly. Just this last question. One key thing that came out even in the plenary and the discussion earlier on is what your relationship with this admin data institutions. There are diverse institutions, government institutions that are producing administrative data. There is any direct coordination between your NSO and all these institutions. If there is it working well? If there is not, because I know the institutions that are producing the administrative data are very this conversation. Do you have a relationship at all? And if you know what is the
users and make sure that the data are in quantity
that's how we interact with our statistics. So if you do the civil administration, they are actually part of the committee and they give us data there. And this year, in fact, we are conducting a very big exercise, and those admin data providers, people used as a team of training, because you get that the subjects are diverse. So the first line that invited to assist us in conducting training of the census to all the other kinds of the census. So we have a very good relationship, and we have the focal persons that we liaise with, who actually liaise with the others, the county governments. So we are members of our sector statistics committees, and they chose representation. We have council of governors, and at the same time we also have the county government representative. They chose themselves and told us if there matters education, deal with this one. So we use those mechanisms to at least push forward the agenda.
Thank you for Rwanda case. The statistics office is becoming more a key player at national level. Recently, the government has given it the mandate to overlook what we call in Rwanda performance contracts. That's very, very key in terms of seeing how the country is performing vis-a-vis its commitment, whether national and international. So the statistics office really is becoming a very key partner, and whatever it may influence or take as initiative, all other stakeholders are obliged to comply with it, as it is an institution which evaluates them in return. So since like 2-3 years now, since this mandate was transferred to the statistics office, there was challenges in terms of abiding with standards in monitoring performance across sectors and institutions. And they will the Ministry of Local Government was evaluating institutions and while they are under it. So it was just providing marks to institutions it controlled, districts and all provinces. So that's why the mandate was shifted from the parent institution to a little bit independent institution vis-a-vis those institutions. So currently, the statistics office, in terms of admin data, is working with the Ministry of Education. That is a concrete example where they used to provide their own indicators, and to some extent, because all their officers at different level of administration were not statisticians and were compiling data wrongly. So that's when it came in and provided by providing the metadata of all indicators, education indicators. So now they are establishing a system-based application where schools are reporting all the students and make sure the data are disaggregated, and provide where the statistics office has also control to check what the schools across the country is providing through the system. So this used to be difficult before the mandate of monitoring the performance contracts was provided to the statistics office. So now we are sure the standards are being followed and procedures are being statistical procedures are being followed during the computation. computation of indicator, because before schools used to lie the number of students because they wanted more money, and these were creating issues. So this time around, the statistics office has control. Another institution the statistics office is working with the Ministry of Education. So the system in education is called Education Management Information System. So they are working also with the Ministry of Health to make sure the indicators are well collected and computed. So the Ministry of Health also has a number of staff throughout the country who reports, including what we call community health workers, who are not much knowledgeable in terms of data computation and data collection. So the system, the health management information system, used to have issues in terms of data collection because the system was not built in a way. People were just sending data through mobile phones, and whenever there's no connection, and someone will just send once or twice or three times, and the data becomes lost, or so many issues were there. So, and the last institution I was mentioning is GMO, the Gender Monitoring Office, which oversees the monitoring of gender commitments at national gender commitments and international gender commitments, so that we make sure all the indicators are disaggregated and are computed following the right procedures. So those are three examples statistics office is doing right now, and this partnership is building a good progress.
Okay, with regard to Ethiopia, the relationship between the sectors and the NSO, that I think. So the Central Statistical Agency is mandated to produce socio-economic and demographic data, and the other one is guiding and coordinating the national statistical system. And within this regard, the national statistical system contains different ministries, departments, and agencies. So these MDS will come to the CC if they require a support, technical support, to produce their statistics administrative data, which is. So we support technically, we give trainings, we give support in producing or improving their methodologies, and any other demands upon their request, we are supporting them. The other one is, as the National Statistical System contains online ministries, departments, and agencies, they are participating to produce the data demands, their challenges, their recommendations. However, the coordination is still weak. It is not as such strong that the system requires to be. Nowadays, as I have said earlier, we have identified 4 pillars within the assessment that we have conducted, as I have said earlier. So one of the areas that we decided to engage with is forming the coordination structure in the country. The statistical coordination structure has to be established, and we have to work accordingly. So this is one big area that we have to work and make statistical coordination data survey or whatever, in administrative, in census, or in civil registrations, whatever. The statistical activities has to be coordinated, and this is one of the major areas that we are going to engage maybe in the coming year. Thank you.
Don't wait to say it's another round of applause for the moment. I think this has been a very positive session in which we've had positive responses from all the 4 NSOs with regards to good practices on the use of administrative data or guidelines that they're providing. They've mentioned the challenges that they face, and some of these are really vivid and very clear to all of us. They have clearly stated that the recommendations of the study are really relevant, and some will implement some of the recommendations, and others are committed to taking most of them up. And I think the last question around the relationship between the National Statistical Office and the administrative data producing institution, the response has been really good. Meaning in all these 4 countries, there is nowhere where the NSO will have a challenge with working with institutions producing administrative data, because they're either monitoring them, they're either providing guidelines, and there's commitment to also build their capacity to do it. So this is really a very strong and loud commitment, in my opinion, that this work can really be taken forward. Because if you come here and tell us, I think it's in Ghana, or I don't know which particular country, that the Ministry of Health refuses to release data, even to the NSO. So if we have a situation like that, it's going to be difficult for you to work on the administrative data because they're collecting. But of course, that may be a context, and of course, thank goodness Philomena is here and she's nodding her head. So when you have situations like this in which the NSO does not have the overall responsibility or the coordinating mandate for the NSS, there might be challenges of such. But it means in all these 4 countries, that is not the case. Support is provided. There are even institutional mechanisms that are provided for sectoral, so this work will indeed move forward. Now, I'll ask panel members, I didn't want you to introduce yourself again for the cameras, because I didn't want you to limit yourself on what you can say and what you cannot say. I'll pass the mic on, just introduce yourself again, your name, and your role within the NSO, so that we know that we were talking, of course, to senior officials of the NSOs.
Thank you. My name is Mario Kitembe. I'm a senior statistician at the National Bureau of Statistics, Tanzania. I'm a coordinator of gender statistics. I'm also a coordinator of Making Every Woman and Girl Child Count Project, the UN Women Project. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Mary Wanyoni from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, Director in charge of Statistical Coordination and Methods, and the SDGs focal person.
Good afternoon to all. I'm Chochori Kanubana Dominic. I'm Technical Advisor for Gender Statistics based at National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda.
My name is Fakad Asrat from Ethiopia. I'm working for the Central Statistical Agency there in Ethiopia and the Department of the National Statistical Data Standards and Coordination Directorate. I'm an expert there. I'm also a focal person for SDG for the organization.
So colleagues, you will agree with me, we have spoken and we've heard from the right persons within the NSOs in terms of taking this work forward. So our next session will then be way forward. I want to thank you all very much for all the responses you've provided. And I also want to commit, of course, UN Women's interest and strong commitment in continuing to work in this area. And I also want to, I even then want to highlight that we now have a gender statistics specialist. She had introduced herself. You need to wave, because colleagues are going to be calling, but you need to wave. So we do have the in-house technical capacity as well to provide support to the country offices implementing the Pathfinder countries, also the non-Pathfinder countries. So you can call on us. Now we're proudly saying that, especially when we have the in-house capacity to do that. And that, of course, continues to show the regional director's commitment to work in this area by having a specialized individual within the office to actually provide this kind of support. We see the interest that this is actually stimulating, we see the commitments, and we see the opportunities. One thing that I want us to reflect on as you go to your seats and we go to way forward is how many of us see the opportunities of using administrative data to complement SDG reporting in 2020. I am assuming, like in the case of the MDGs, by the next time the SDGs are 5 years next year, there's going to be country reporting of the progress on the SDGs. Do we see opportunities for using complementary administrative data, even if it's in boxes, because we know the limitations here and there, they're not final, but where we have gaps, can we use those as proxies in terms of reporting on the SDGs? So that's the question that's going to make you take your seat. We reflect on that and that moves us into the way forward. Thank you very much again, once more. So that question is for everyone, way forward. What are we taking from here? And we want to be able to document them. What are we taking? We've been together for a whole day. We have listened to what UN Women is doing around gender statistics. We have listened to the presentation of the study that you have. We've also listened to national statistical offices on the challenges that they find, on the innovative approaches or the interventions they're doing on administrative data, on their relationship with admin data institution. Now, what are we taking from here as a group? What can we see the way forward? I mean, we are noting some of those for you and women, but we also want to hear from you. This is also an opportunity for us to hear from civil society organizations or NGOs that have actually joined us here today in this discussion. What are you taking forward? We have heard from the NSOs. Now is the turn for everyone else to tell us. If you don't put up your hand, I'll come to you. What are we taking forward? There's a hand up. Yeah.
Thank you for the microphone. I think there was a useful point in terms of how we proceed, particularly coming from Mary, the director for Kenya, in terms of really working with civil society to create a frame of monitoring that is acceptable by all actors and that all of us can plug into it. I think that becomes our beginning point, and we need to do it as soon as yesterday. If that can happen as soon as yesterday, I think that would be great. The second that I think should be an ongoing conversation, and in the spirit of again grounding the SDGs and ensuring that they make real sense to women who are excluded, is basically again looking at how we entrench and strengthen community reporting mechanism within SDGs. I think that's something that we may not. It may not be sufficiently anchored within the law, but we must create mechanisms for that particular monitoring. We've seen evidence being generated by rural women, and that evidence being used to drive processes and serious policy processes in critical spaces that have actually resulted into advancement of rights. I think that's the second bit. The third is basically again looking at how do we ensure, how do we shorten the cycle monitoring, verification of data, and making that data public. That's a problematic cycle, because sometimes data takes almost 10 years before it's released officially. It's already overtaken by events. You can't use it. So how do we really reduce on that cycle so that there is much more action planning, particularly around outcomes of that particular process? I think that's something that we must look at. I think the questions around data ownership is something that we must also, as we report around SDG, ensure that we are not reporting upwardly. We are also reporting and being accountable in a more horizontal and even downward way, so that this data becomes useful for massive advocacy and transformation in SDGs. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's come this way. Yes, Oxfam.
Yeah, thank you very much for all the discussions that have gone on today. For me, I think part of the way forward could also be a closer look at the other alternative available data that can complement what the government is producing through the national statistical offices. I would also like to look at what the CSOs and other people who are doing research institutions are producing that could also be relevant and relevantly classified as administrative data, and ways of creating standards that are acceptable across the board to qualify this information as reliable and what can be used to inform decisions that come out of the use of administrative data. And also I'm thinking about a coordinated way of bringing all this together in terms of creating systems that can be accessible by all the stakeholders who are producing this kind of data, and also informing the stakeholders of how they can channel this information into the one system that you can create and agree with, and following the standards that are generated.
Hello. Yes. Concerning to Tanzania, we had discussion with Mariam from NBS. We have actually SDG task force headed by Ministry of Finance, and we are thinking to sit with them and use this framework, because Ministry of Finance and every started some activities, but making program, we have to only refine tools, but it needs also empowerment ministry to accept of adjustment. So these are our action plans from perspective.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been really very helpful. We helped us to cross-learn from each other. So what we do as a team, this region, is to really, capitalize on the best practice rather than starting from scratch. But more than that, both aspiring countries and non-aspiring countries need to do the partnership and collaboration in terms of standardizing the template and forms, of data collection, including data quality. More than that, it's not a product. So at this minute, beyond the region, but beyond that, for Ethiopia, though not outside the country, we have already signed a letter of agreement with the Central Statistics Agency to implement the flush drilling program. Very soon, we will be able to, start implementation and also undertake serious research, like on the asset gaps, which could respond to many of the SDG indicators. But more than that, what we have recently done is also to train our civil society partners on citizen-generated data. Which could complement data gaps in terms of, addressing but also reporting on SDGs. Thank you.
Thank you. Mine is to, of course, first commend the team for putting this together.
And based on Kenya's experience, looking at how Kenya has organized itself in SDG periodic reporting, I remember earlier this year we supported the State Department of Gender Affairs on reporting for SDG 5. And even in the convening of the stakeholders, I think there was a lack of appreciation of the role of admin data in strengthening their reporting. It was just gender advocates in the platform. So one recommendation is, even in the annual reporting for SDGs, with the lead agencies at national level on gender-related SDG indicators, and the institution also has appreciation of admin data and the role of other NGOs in that reporting. And then secondly is the second part is developing an SDG 5 monitoring strategy. And I think one of the lessons I learned is that of course we cannot just focus on SDG 5 because we have indicators across the other SDGs, but most importantly, as Kenya is developing the strategy, we need to demonstrate an appreciation of admin data because that strategy is what will guide the reporting in subsequent years.
Just one small additional point from me around disaggregating the data that we receive or generate. I think it's going to be important if we intend to really measure what we achieve around the SDGs that are focused on gender, because we cannot really qualify we cannot even measure if we don't disaggregate the data. So I think at this point also educating each other and all the other stakeholders is very important in terms of how to generate the data and how to disaggregate it for it to be more useful.
The conversation of data production and using move hand in hand together. What is the and for different interests. Thank you very much. Additional points on the way forward? Yes.
Thank you. So finally, I think that having the data and analyzing it there, we should have conversations to trigger implementation on what we find on the data. This goes to policy making, advice, also accountability, the government, because we have a lot of data that is resting and that is analyzed, not seeing policy around the sector.
Okay. So rather this. I think the points that were raised today are really very, very important. I'm increasingly convinced that the most sustainable way for us to address measurement in our region is going to be a focus on administrative data systems. And gender being such a cross-cutting theme, we just had a conversation about that. We are talking about the whole national statistical system. We are not talking about necessarily now about very specific gender-related collections. The whole national statistical system actually needs to be disaggregated by sex. So the work is enormous. And yes, we can do specialized surveys like violence against women, but those are so expensive that the likelihood that most national statistical offices will be able to conduct it in a series at different points are very, very low. So the low-hanging fruits are going to be exactly what we are talking about now. But we need to realize the enormity of the task, because we are really dealing with the whole national statistical system. And I think the suggestions that some officers had, or most of you had, to prioritize and decide which specific SDG goals are going to be focused on in terms of working in administration is very sound. And I think that's going to propel us forward. I'm personally looking forward really to work closely with all of you to facilitate and assist wherever I can to help that process move forward, because I do think that's the sustainable way to go.
No, not for. It's my proposal, because after this, we have country action plan, we can go. But as a harmonized way, from this way, what you mentioned also, can you have from this to have one thematic area, and you can have a coordinated way from regional initiative, so you can take that maybe education or health related SDG indicators, and you can replicate. So that is my proposal to your.
Yeah, for gender statistics development or for overall statistical development, the national statistical systems development is crucial. So, like, we have a national strategy for development of statistics, which is a 5 years national strategy. But if you see, for most of African countries, it's like national strategy, but it's mostly for NSOs. It doesn't come from bottom up, from all the sectors. All the sectors should be engaged in the NSS, in the development of national strategy for development of statistics, to make it national, because it's the national statistical system that plans this strategy. So for Ethiopia, like what I propose is our next national strategy for development of statistics should incorporate all the sectors. So it shouldn't be mostly focusing on NSO's plan. And all the sectors should have a strategic plan for statistics. I heard from Kenya, I think, she said you have sector strategic plan. All the sectors, or most sectors, have this statistical unit. And I heard Uganda also have developed the sector-specific strategies for development of statistics, but we don't have sectoral statistical units. So this is for the future. It's a way forward for us to improve the development of administrative data and all data in the national statistical system.
Okay, you should still clap for yourself. You're not convinced you've done well, but you've done very well to stay with us all this time and still be able to give us input. Okay, a few things that I had on my list that I was waiting to see that it's not actually being duplicated or repeating somebody once. It's moving from here. There is a call on the 6 countries that have been implicated in the study to develop country-specific action plan. We're very happy that our colleagues from the UN Women offices are here, and we're going to take that decision collectively, and they'll be responsible to give us a feedback on what is it that the country has agreed to take on board. What are the things they send us to the regional office? That will then serve the basis on which the support that will be provided by the regional office at a technical level on what you say you're going to do. So that's one commitment. Do you agree? Okay, that's one. And in that, our expectation is, in the presentation we mentioned that 54 of the SDG indicators are gender-specific indicators. So review those 54 as you're doing the action plan, the country action plan,
and select which one of the 54 you will initially work on. Prioritization. The work is enormous. If we decide to do everything, we may do nothing. But of the 54 indicators, as you work on your country action plan, select the 54 indicators, which ones are probably most pressing for a country. Gender equality issues are very pressing for everywhere, but violence against women, for instance, is the biggest case for my country. I'll want to follow and track those particular indicators of the SDGs on that. If there are issues of governance, for example, etc., or environment. So of the 54, select. Number 3, commit yourself to those few indicators that you will want to be included in a 2020 SDG report. So that when we open the Tanzania SDG report, the 5-year, we are seeing some indication of the use of administrative data on what you have selected. Commit yourself to ensuring that when you do the action plan, you select those indicators, you want to see these reflected. It means there's a lot of advocacy you have to do with the NSS system as a whole, but since you've selected the institutions, you will already begin to work with this. That's one clear way forward that I see for us from here. So we will show that we didn't only come here, but the countries went back. Now, what I need from you, though, is a timeline on when we should expect those. And I don't want to give a timeline, because then if you don't adhere to it, you'll be like, it was your timeline. So what do we think is a timeline in which we will submit the country action plan? So the minimum, the 4 countries that are here, but we'll also pass on the information to the other 2 who could not make it, to also, what is a good timeline? Action plan. Action plan is good. Then you can always review it because you select some indicators as one. Yeah, so let's keep it ready. Yes. No, you submit after you have reviewed with that team and everybody has agreed for Tanzania. So we are also not in a hurry in that sense, because we want to say when you give us the action plan, it's not a UN Women action plan, but it's a UN Women NSO action plan. Yes, Mariam? Okay, the next comes already in August. Yes.
Next year, we can report on all SDG and like for this year, those countries which were reporting on a high-level political forum, so they were reporting on 4
SDGs. I'm assuming the experience during the MDGs. And when they have this global after 5 years to on all the goals. So in the communication on that yet, so but I'm just assuming it's going to come. So it's likely if all goes, a country provides a status report. The high-level political forum identifies SDGs that they focus on every year. That's not the reporting that I was referring to. It's the reporting on the SDG for the country. In fact, I'm just understanding that Kenya does an annual one. So some countries already do annual on their basis, but I think the UN is going to ask for a 5-year. That's what they did during the MDGs. So progress reporting on the achievements of the SDG is all SDGs. It is not a selected of the SDGs. Yeah. Okay, commitment. Tanzania has committed, and we don't want to have varying commitments. Can I then suggest, and please say here if no. So another August. Not for Kenya? Okay, it's many months. Okay, we can do even mid-September. August will do. Ethiopia is committed to August. Please take me a minute. At this time, Tanzania is committed to August. Rwanda, mid-September. So by 15th of September, Isabella, that's your follow-up, that we will have these 4 countries give us an action plan, select some indicators that they will work with those institutions to have admin data reporting on the SDG for 2020. That will be a lot of success for us in taking this study and doing this seminar. And I think that deserves a clap. That definitely deserves a clap. Thank you very much. For us at the regional office, so I've also noted some of way forward for us, following up on this action plan and then providing support and reminders on what you will do and whatever technical support you need is going to be a priority. From the discussions here, I have seen the very loud call with regards to how we involve in local government and community level. I think that has come many, many times. Again, we're on track on that because the work we're doing on citizen-generated data, and either towards the end of this year or early next year, we will ensure that those who have been here for continuity are also part of that process with us in that. So that's another way forward for us. We hear also very well for us to create the discussion with the line ministries. Some of them, if not all of them. Like what we have had here with NSOs and everyone we have this discussion, we should consider having this report in a discussion with line ministries, even if it's some of them, or piggybacking or riding on a meeting that's already happening and doing that subsession. I think it's going to be a follow-up for us. Okay. And then, of course, we would like to see 2020 reporting on the SDGs. If we do not, I'm not envisioning that we will not have a global request for us to do national reporting on the SDGs. If we don't, and you're doing annual reporting in your country, we would just like to see that admin data has actually been reported on based on the study that we have, the work plan that you have actually prepared, and the relationship with all others. So if there is no other business, I'm happy to hold my peace forever and say thank you very much to everyone for having come out today and having actively participated in the meeting. I did not give you greetings earlier on because you saved the last for the best, but the regional director, Madam Isedua Derex-Briggs, is excited that we are having this meeting. The deputy regional director, Zabib Kavoma, would have definitely loved to be here with us, and it really was behind and supporting this seminar that we're having. And on behalf of my colleagues, we team, you can just wave. There's a lot of background that went into all of this work that got us here today and doing the study. I really want to thank all of them for doing that. In the regional office, there's a lot of collaboration between different units. Our colleagues from knowledge management, we definitely want to acknowledge you. You can just wave. Even if don't assume everybody knows you. They've done a good job in actually bringing all of us here. Now I'm going to be jealous. You clap for knowledge management and not for we. The clap goes for all of us. And definitely we commend you, Philomena, for your commitment. It's not all the time that you find a consultant who is committed even after their contract is expired. It's the commitment to the work. I keep telling her it doesn't look like everyone who's retired. You're retired but tired. And I think because of her commitment in statistics in general, she was really devoted her time. You can imagine the 1,000,001 questions and feedback and comments that we provided in this report. She never stopped at 1 minute, not responding on time. We really, really want to thank you very much, Philomena, for that hard work. Thank you. Our country offices, this is a regional study because the regional office was coordinating and managing the entire study, but each and every country office, the 6 country offices and their focal persons for gender statistics have been actively involved both in sending them the inception report, the questionnaire, in following up with NSOs to even review this report, and I really want you to stand up and take a bow. The UN Women country offices colleagues who are here, UN Women, stand up. Yes, thank you very much. Yes. And I have a reason why I told them to stand up. So when we asked them for the action plan, we thank them so much so they will continue doing that. When they said we, did you wave? Joel? Yes. Oh, okay. I thought I didn't see you wave. Okay. I thought you were forgetting your we. Okay. No, thank you very much. To all our other partners we work with, the academia, we thank you so much for sparing the time. And the students who are here, I'm hoping they have learned a lot and they will continue to give this message out there. We really want to thank you very much for coming. CSOs who are here, I know there's ActionAid, there's CARE, there are groups, I should never forget groups, many others. We really want to thank you for all the time and for the collaboration and for the input that you have provided. And to all of you, on behalf of the regional office, on behalf of the regional director and the deputy regional director, Thank you very much. Asante sana. Thank you to everyone.
So colleagues, we have tea as you walk out. Please don't don't leave us with the tea because we are very few to consume it. And then lastly, we are going to send you a survey, a feedback survey. It will be an online one. Please take about just 5 minutes to review it. You should receive it by tomorrow. Thank you so much. And colleagues, I should not forget, because Fatmata has not been thanked specially. So can we all clap for Fatmata for all the, yeah. Thank you so much. She's our boss, and she's the one who was leading this particular initiative. Thank you so much.
Ndio na waleta mimi nikihandle kamera ma.
I'm coming.
I cannot.
Right now, right now, right. What should we ask?
Later. Kama wote. Analeta watu.
It's me who's doing it.
by 2020.
Today's seminar at the UN in Nairobi focused so much on the SDGs and the knowledge in how far Ethiopia has gone in terms of data and protection.
There is a long way to go because, as you already seen in the report, we are not doing much. So there is a long way to go. We need to really, sensitize our population, our people, in terms of providing information. Information also comes from the community, from the people, from citizens, not only from central statistics agencies. So for that, as I told you, we are working with the media and also doing a lot of advocacy and capacity building initiatives for people to understand and also contribute to the quality and timely reliability, representativeness of data.
We also understand there is a challenge when it comes to funding of this kind of projects. How has it been in your country specifically?
Yes, it's true, it's a challenge. Fortunately for us, that wasn't the case because everybody realized the need for data. There is a huge demand for data. So you won't be able to do it without finance. So we were able to even, mobilize resource at the country level, unlike other countries who were supported from the HQ, UN Women Office. But for Ethiopia, we were able to generate income, generate resource for, to be able to generate data and also for dissemination from the government of Sweden, but also from the government of Norway.
Lastly, did you enjoy your seminar? How many are you representing your country here in Nairobi?
Yes, we have really enjoyed it. We have learned a lot. It's 3 people from Ethiopia. Myself is from the UN Women, but I have also colleagues from the Central Statistics Agency, one who is the gender directorate of the agency, and the other one was the head of a department and a demographer.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Asante sana.
You're trying.
Asante sana. Is it?
Karibu.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Good.
We had somebody else to speak to us. Thank you, you are too. We had somebody else to speak to us. I don't know who. Yeah. All right, thank you. So, you're good?
So I look at the camera when
Yeah. Her camera is that one? Yeah. So tell us your name.
My name is Zipporah Wanaswa.
Karibu sana Zipporah.
Asante.
Yeah. We understand you work with the Oxfam. How many people from Oxfam have been represented so far?
In this meeting, it's just me. We were to come with 2 of my colleagues, but they're engaged in another meeting, so they couldn't make it this one. Yeah.
As Oxfam, what's your role in this seminar about the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and data knowledge?
So as Oxfam, being an international influencing organization, our role is also to gain knowledge, but also share what we have done in terms of influencing major institutional meetings like the Davos, World Bank Davos meeting, like the CSW, and drawing knowledge from the statistics that we have to be able to both inform what we influence in terms of policy at international and national levels, but also use the same information to do our work in terms of influencing social norms. For example, Personally, I manage the Women Economic Empowerment and Care Project, which is funded by Unilever, but also works in Zimbabwe and in the Philippines. The main aim of the project is to reduce the burden of unpaid care work on women and girls. To be able to do that, then we need that the governments have policies that will ensure their commitment to set up proper infrastructure that can help to reduce the burden of unpaid care work. For example,
just a minute, when you talk about the government to have policies, do you come in to help the government formulate those policies, or you let the government do that independently?
What we do is to